Brad Bowman from Heaven's Metal Magazine. I'm not going to bore you with a long intro, but here's a great interview I recently had the opportunity of conducting with the guys from Columbus, Ohio's Jacob's Dream. So check it out. These guys are awesome, great musicians, fantastic music. So listen to the interview, and then if you've never heard them before, or even if you have, go give their music a spin. It's pretty incredible. Hey guys, thanks for agreeing to this interview. This is awesome, man. I say man, I'm men, I guess. So tell me the current lineup right now of Jacob's Dream. What's the current lineup?
We have David doing vocals.
All right.
Tempting.
Then we got John Barry and John Noble on guitar.
Okay.
We got James Evans on bass. My name's Kevin Wright. I do vocals, and that's our drummer, Gary.
We haven't let him out yet.
We didn't let him out yet. He's
Okay.
Yeah, we're here at Gary's house.
Okay. Is this your normal? Excuse me, I've got phlegm in my throat. I'll edit that out. Is this your normal rehearsal space?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So we have a few minutes here. I would like to take you guys all the way back to, gee whiz, the first album came out 21 years ago in 2000. Does it seem like it's been that long?
No.
That's crazy. That's the first time Now you're not old. You can't be that old. Come on, guys.
It's making me sit here. So
Wait do you see Gary?
Well,
I lost my flip-flops.
Well, I started listening to you guys back then in the first album. I read a review. I forget which magazine it was. But they said you guys had if I recall, the songwriting chops of Queensryche with the production of Dream Theater. And I was like, okay, I got to check these guys out because I'm a huge progressive metal fan. So yeah, I don't know who wrote the review. I remember that sticking in my head. And
yeah. But I've also heard that we were a B grade Queensryche, so I've heard that too.
No, you guys have your own sound, which I appreciate. And David, you were a vocalist on the first album, am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, so you were on the first album, Theater of War. What was the third?
There was a demo, the self-titled album, and Theater of War. Yes.
Okay, and then was Chaz on Drama of the Ages? Is that when he came in?
Yes.
Okay. So Chaz Bond is with Biogenesis, correct? Is that his current?
Yeah.
Well, currently he's with Letters to the Blind.
Yeah, he's currently with Letters of the Blind.
Well, I guess Biogenesis is still a thing, sort of. More like a recording project, but
Okay.
they don't play live.
Isn't it like Blind Vultures Genesis or something like that?
I wish Chaz was here to answer that. We thought he was going to be here.
Yeah, we were hoping he was going to be here, but
Oh, that would have been great. Get all three vocalists in the same room. Now, Chaz is from Dayton, Ohio. I graduated from Dayton Christian, so
All right.
I grew up in that area. I'm down in Hamilton, Ohio. You guys are in Columbus, so we're all Buckeyes, which is awesome.
Not really.
Was that
Kevin's a little bit out of the state.
Yeah.
you got the Riverbank Cafe down there? Is that still there?
James was asking if you had the Riverbank Cafe.
The Riverbank Cafe was right there off the bridge next to the river. You got the Marriott on one side, on the other side, you got that little corner restaurant. It's called the Riverbank Cafe. And they may have changed the name of it, but when I was down there, it was Riverbank Cafe.
Hamilton's huge. He doesn't know every building in Hamilton.
Dude, Hamilton is huge. But you have a river and a main drag. And the river and the main drag is where all that stuff is.
Everyone.
Yeah, that cafe is no longer there. I know exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Now it's like a sushi roll place. They do
Okay.
or something weird there. Yeah.
Yeah, I know a little bit about Hamilton.
Man, why wasn't?
Well, hey guys, take me through. So before we start, let me tell you where I'm coming from. This is not my full-time gig, but Doug Van Pelt, the editor of Heaven's Metal magazine, I reached out to him because I've been writing reviews and posting them on Facebook for years. And I said, hey guys, would you mind if you like my reviews? I'll let you post them in Heaven's Metal. And he was like, cool. So
I've been writing for Heaven's Metal for about a year now, and he said, and I do video production for a living. So he was like, hey, why don't you do some interviews too? So I've been reaching out to different artists, and you guys, honestly, I love your music, and thought it'd be great to talk with you. And then you guys got this concert coming up with like all 3 vocalists in one show. Is that right? Or all 3?
At least 2 of us.
At least 2 of us. Let's hope that all 3 will be there, but this.
Yeah, we really hope Chaz can make it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Because the one thing that has set you guys apart from a lot of other metal bands is the vocals. A lot of guys go the growling, I don't like that stuff. And you guys have good, clean, like I said, Queensryche-esque vocals, which is great. So I love that. So so that's where I'm coming from. I don't want to be the one talking. Let's go back to the beginning. Take me through the story of Jacob's Dream, how this whole thing got started.
Oh, well, that's, yeah, you want to go back to very, very, very beginnings.
Yeah, let's do
You
it.
guys can go ahead and
Okay.
start that, and then I'll jump in whenever my part comes in.
So I guess to sum up a little bit without getting into too much, I was born and whatnot. Gary and I were kind of hanging out, and even before Gary and I were hanging out, John Barry and I had some conversations. There was a little local Christian music hangout that we would always go to, and we as John Barry and I didn't as two really connect right away, and so we just kind of knew of each other. Gary and I were kind of talking. Gary was a guitar player at the time, and once I met Gary, I was like, hey, I know this guy. I met him at anyway, I met him at Heart Song, which is just completely different hangout. Anyway, so told him, I said, well, I know this guy. I said, we can give him a call. I said, we've talked before. I know he plays guitars, and we called him, and he's like, well, I'm kind of working with this other guitar player right now, which is John Noble. And I was like, okay, so, well, we don't need 3 guitar players. And Gary's like, well, I can play drums. Okay, so Gary bought a drum kit, and we just kind of started practicing, playing some, Barren Cross stuff and whatnot, and, rattling the neighbors and getting kicked out of places and whatnot. And so we just kind of the 4 of us for the first several months, and John Noble was hanging around with some other friends, and they knew Dave Taylor, and they'd been talking, and say, hey, we know this guy, he's a really good vocalist, whatever. And then introduced him, through that channel, comes in and, sings some songs with us for a couple sets or a couple practice things. And well, I guess we've got a singer. So that was kind of the 1989 conglomeration of everybody, the original group melding together. And then, of course, through time, a few people petered in, petered out. I was out of the band for 4 or 5 years. We were all starting lives, marriages, children, things like that. And then basically when 98 rolled around, that's the demo was 97, 96, 97 when that came out. And then with that, it got some recognition. We get a little bit of attention from Metal Blade Records. And when we signed with Metal Blade, that is kind of the new era of the actual getting our stuff out there to the public. So in 2000, that's kind of when we became, we're still kind of the same group, but the elements have, again, we've had people in and out on different occasions. So you see a little lineup changes here and there, but ultimately it's been a 5-piece with John Noble, John Barry on guitars, me on bass, and then Gary on drums. And the vocals have kind of phased in and out a little bit, but it's being in a position where you can have all 3 vocalists now that they like each other, they support each other, they actually encourage, coach each other. I mean, they're not just singing together. I mean, they're truly friends with each other and respect each other as musicians.
Well, I don't know about that.
Well, maybe not Kevin.
No, I'm kidding.
He's kidding.
I was going to say something about something else, but I thought it was inappropriate. So that was my chance to get a dig in.
Well, that's kind of the history in a nutshell. And as far as just bringing us to where we are today, so that was kind of the beginnings. And but again, we've all had been through a lot of life things and whatnot, and it's been spouses have come and gone, diseases have come and gone, surgeries have come and gone. It's just, we're still doing our thing, as long as we're still upright and can pluck a string, I guess we'll still be here.
Hey, I got to ask you guys, did you guys go to many concerts at the King's Place?
Yes, yeah, we went to a lot of them. That's how we ran into each other, met
All
each
the
other.
time.
Matter of fact, that was one thing I wanted to say. When I came into the band, I can't remember what year, it was 88. I was at you remember a band called Bashing the Code?
Yeah.
Okay, Mark Townsend was a guitar player at the time. He still does music. He's in Nashville now, I think he is. He was giving his testimony that night about how he would play guitar by his mom's bedside. She's passing away of cancer. And I was there that night. I think I know Gary was there that night. Were you there that night, John? There was others there that night. Was you there that night, James? I can't remember.
Don't think I was.
All I know is I really felt like God was calling me to do something like that, like calling me to the music. And we were there that night. And it just stuck out to me. Years ago, I thought I'd been called to missions in our church, and then it turned in, this is what I think is what God wanted. I kind of stumbled into it. And it's been like that since. So, and I still don't know what I'm doing. All the singing I've done, I am very fortunate that I haven't destroyed my voice, because I didn't know what I was doing. Like everything I've learned along the way. One of the things though now that I'm grateful for, I know you've heard of Ken Tamplin.
Oh yeah.
I'm working on getting his course that he has.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that will help, because I just feel like as long as God wants us doing this, I'll do it. And I just feel like the call to do it until he tells us not to anymore. It's all about me being faithful with the time he's given me. And of course, I'm really bad at that. So the grace of Almighty God is the only thing that's getting me through that.
We're all bad at that.
And that's where we are. That's what we're here. It's about, ultimately, it's about the gospel. That's what we're here. I mean, ultimately, that's what it is.
He just cracks me up with what he just said, because it's like I hear people say things about being right with God, and it's there is no such thing.
No,
it doesn't exist.
No, there
There
is none righteous, not one.
We have that day.
Yeah.
We've been given an opportunity and a gift. I want to honor that. I'm 52 years old. I can't believe it. I mean, I'm
still got 4.
Wow, where did all those years go? You can sit around and lament over the missed opportunities, but I'm not going to do that. I got to move. I'm recovering from a 2-year injury, and I got to move on, and as far as my work life goes, and I'm hoping that God works it out, that doesn't interfere with what I'm doing here,
Yeah. So it sounds like you guys were all around the same age. So we came up through the 80s listening to all of that, and that obviously has impacted your all's music big time. Because I do hear influences. You guys don't sound like anybody, but I hear a lot of influences in there. Throw out some of your influence, some of your favorite bands that you still listen to, or you listened to back when you guys started, or
Boy George, Culture Club, that kind of thing.
Hey, Boy George's got a great voice, though. You gotta admit.
He does. He really does.
I like
for a woman.
Well, obviously, I'm into Maiden and Queensryche and Ronnie James Dio. I really love that stuff.
Yeah.
We do have a 9-year span of ages, and if you get on Gary's our older guy, I'm the youngest guy, but literally if you look at when Gary was in school and what the bands were, I mean, it's a little bit more of Deep Purple and you know, going back yeah, well, he was Steely Dan, whatnot, but you know, when I was growing up, hair metal was just kind of coming onto the scene. So like I said, I'm the other end of that spectrum. And Striper, honestly, was probably, I remember being at a church and somebody suggested I bought a Striper tape. First ever was Soldiers Under Command. I bought that and Petra. I think it was Beat the System.
Yeah, Petra.
But nonetheless, that Striper album, that was like kind of what really, with metal, really drew me. Because I mean, my mom, we was a Christian home, and if you go back into what's that movie, Rock of Ages, and all the Bible thumping women, that was my mom. Yeah,
that was my mom too.
Service, yeah, that was my mom. So you know, there was a lot of stuff that was inappropriate for the house, and so Striper, all the Christian stuff, that was okay. But even so, you know, it's still around, like, you know, like
too fast though.
Well, yes, the beat. It was all satanic because of the beat.
Yeah, it was too fast.
But nonetheless, like Motley Crue and all those were kind of coming up. But I heard those things, but literally from Striper, kind of got into a little bit of Deliverance, and then into well, before Deliverance would have been Barren Cross. So Barren Cross, which is basically an Iron Maiden clone.
Right.
Now, fast forward to the future, and I've gotten rid of a lot of the stigmas that made me judge the rest of the music community. Iron Maiden is probably by far one of my favorite, just all around metal bands, just with everything that they.
That's probably
right, yeah. Well, probably, yeah, it's probably all
probably
of us,
everybody
but,
in the room.
I just, you know, there's very little Iron Maiden that I would turn off because it's not something I care for.
I was trying to include you, man.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Come forward.
No, Johnny is not a fan of Iron Maiden, I guess.
Bride and Bloodgood
more
were
dark
huge.
books.
Bride and Bloodgood were huge on me. I love those guys. Dale Thompson, Bride, his vocals, and Bloodgood, and Les Carlson.
Yeah.
Those guys, you see, that's the thing too. Not just the actual skill and the technicality of it all. It was the feeling and the emotion they conveyed, the art of it. And Pastor Bob Beeman, I will always credit him to being the huge influence of Sanctuary International and the stuff that he brought. He helped organize these guys together. It meant so much to me as a young person. It got me through things. Those guys got me through things, man.
Geez, David,
Sounds
like we went to the same youth group.
Yeah.
Because everything
I mean, I will always be grateful to them for that. I will always be grateful for them for that. And that's been my influence. And what's there to say? It was thanks, you know, and
yeah.
So here we are.
Just obviously, you guys take the Sanctuary Church real quick. Our latest album, Sea of Destiny, that artwork was in trade for a donation to Sanctuary Church.
Sanctuary International.
Yes, yeah. That was the guy that did basically he donated the artwork, and we paid a donation to Sanctuary for that was all he wanted. So it was just kind of an interesting note on how we got that artwork.
Yeah, that's great. And I got to let me throw this out there. I'm looking through your album covers. Your artwork got significantly better from album to album.
Well, yeah, there was a progression. That first album was put together on a computer with like just stock images, and then Theater of War was actually an album. The artist on that, I think did some Iron Maiden stuff, didn't he? What album? He was an artist from some other. He had done some other work for some other labels, so that's how we get the Theater of War one. And then when you get to Drama of the Ages, that guy was a college student here in Columbus at CCAD, which is Columbus College of Art and Design.
Right.
He, I knew who the instructor was. He recommended the kid, and he did the Drama of the Ages cover. And after that, he got hired by Disney.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. And then of course you got the one was kind of a photo thing. When you get to this newest one, we were actually in Switzerland at a gig, and there was kind of there was church service, and this guy had a tablet, and the screen was up, and the whole time he's building this picture, almost like I remember Chalk Talks from back in the day.
Yeah.
My mom would have Chalk Talks. anyway, so this guy's like doing this art during this whole process, and then we see, I mean, it's very, very good. And we approached him about, you know, hey, here's the concepts we have. We talked about the vultures and everything else, and that was what he put together for us. And but it's all digital. That is 100% done on tablet.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah, we've had all kinds of challenges too along the way. Oh, there's just, I knew when this interview was coming up, but there's just so much to say, you know, and I'm hoping and I'm praying, you know, whatever God wants, I want to see more excellent stuff, you know, I want to see things come together.
Well, one thing that I've always appreciated about you guys is the quality of musicianship, the production quality on all of your albums are top notch. I have never had to say, this is really good for a Christian band.
You're way too kind.
You're way too kind.
We are our own worst critics.
Yeah, thank you
Well,
for
yeah,
the
of course you guys
kindness.
are. But no, I'm serious, and I've recommended you guys to a lot of my friends. One thing I did appreciate is you guys went with Metal Blade at the beginning, decidedly not a Christian label. And what were some of the challenges of being on Metal Blade, but being a band of believers?
The Tourniquet was on Metal Blade at the time, and Metal Blade came to us and said, "So, how do you guys want to be promoted? You want us to, you know, send you out for the same places we send Tourniquet, you know, the Christian festivals, you know, the church circuit?" And I'm like, "Well, we really thought about long and hard. We thought, you know, we could be probably big fish in that little pond, but you know, that's not where we came from, and that's not what we're called to do. You know, we want to be thrown into the metal scene as it was, which there wasn't much of it at the time, at least in the States.
Right.
But they sent us overseas right away to like the biggest heavy metal festivals, and it was huge. I mean, I don't think too many people really recognize us as Christians right off, but they get it after a while. You know, they dig our stuff, they buy the album, they'd be like, "Hey, all right, you guys are like power metal, white Christian or white metal." Yeah, they started calling us white metal bands and stuff. But yeah, we just did not want to just play in churches and stuff. That's not where we came from.
Yeah, that's not our gig at all.
And you know, not against any band that does, but you know,
Right.
The whole point is to be a witness.
Yeah.
You know, you don't witness to believers.
Right. So is there less of a stigma, and I get it, because like a band like Theocracy is another great Christian metal band that's very outspoken about their beliefs. They tour Europe. They don't tour here in the States much. Is there less of a stigma about being a Christian band in Europe than there is in the US?
I don't think it's about the Christian part of it. I think it's about being the metal part of it.
Being metal.
It's the music.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing that I've learned about Europe is that if it's cool, it stays cool. I was in the army. I spent 4 years in Germany, and you know, if they think you're cool and they like your music, they will always like it. They don't. Europeans tend not to trend as much as North Americans do.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if so, Limp Bizkit is probably still really popular in Europe. But you know, like here, not so much, right?
Right.
Not anymore. But like that's how they roll over there. You know, if you're cool, you're always cool. And over here, we have like the opposite thing. Like even people in town, you know, in Columbus, they have no clue who we are or what we do.
Well, you know, and
It's really weird.
It's frustrating to me, and I hear it on Christian radio all the time. They don't ever pay homage to the bands that came before. Like if you haven't been released in the last year, you're not getting on Christian radio at all.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of radio in general, though.
Yeah, and in radio in general. I don't even listen to radio anymore. I don't, seriously. I have my Spotify release radar playlist that pops up, and that's how I discover my music.
Yeah, I have Sirius, and I listen to the NHL Network and Yacht Rock.
Yacht Rock.
That's what I listen to.
Yacht Rock, yeah.
Yeah,
What?
Yeah, man, Kenny Loggins, Steely Dan,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
gotta love it.
Michael McDonald, Christopher Cross. It's all good.
Toto, you got to throw Toto in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's talk gear, guys. Guitarists, I thought I saw a Dean guitar over there. Is that right? Are we locked up?
It depends on which one somebody gave to you.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got a deed.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a couple dimes. One's a Washburn and one's a deed.
Okay. Okay.
I got a little bit of everything. I got a Jackson, Washburn Dean. I got there's a BC Rich in the corner. Yeah,
Yeah, a little bit of
just all
everything.
kinds of stuff.
Okay. Fantastic.
Yeah, Johnny likes ESP, and we all have. I don't play that much. I play like on one song right now, and it was sort of like, hey, why don't you learn the intro to this song so you so you have something to do for 4 minutes before the singing actually starts. So, and I only played it once and I got lost halfway through. So I just turned my guitar down and pretended I was.
And nobody noticed, right?
Yeah, that's on Forever Winter, but we all use like line 6 stuff. And what kind of amps you got? You still have I know, but your main.
Very much.
Yeah, okay, so Johnny has Kemper stuff that he uses on stage, and you got the Marshall still?
Yeah, it is Marshall.
I'm not allowed anywhere near the equipment because I tend to destroy them. So I just stand aside. I'm the monkey that they say, get out there, get it done, but stay away from the equipment.
Sing, monkey, sing.
Yeah.
He had a keyboard holding up a lawnmower for a while.
Yeah.
So back in the early days, pretty much budget dictated what we had.
Right.
You know, we started off with Zoom pedals. I started off with a little 212 and a Boss DS1. And that's all I had. That's all I could afford. I sank some money into a USA custom shop, USA Flying Jackson D, which I still have. It's my favorite guitar of all the ones I own.
His favorite guitar he never plays.
Yeah. Favorite guitar that doesn't come out very much. They don't really make them anymore. So they're kind of hard to come by. And, you know, it's heavy and I'm old. And, you know, so I try to play something a little lighter. But yeah, through the years, we've changed up gear, you know, off and on. We use power amps with cabinets. We've ran direct some. We've used heads with power amps with the line 6 stuff. I had I still have a line 6 Veta head at home. I've got a Marshall JDM and a Mesa Boogie triple wreck.
Yeah.
You can retire from your job and start a pawn shop.
Right.
There is an original blast from the past guitar.
Oh my gosh.
So
Did Lita
That's
Ford
right.
play that? That's what. Oh, we're freezing up.
so at that time, that was kind of a thing.
Yeah.
He
But,
went by the name Pinky Lawless.
Pinky Lawless. So can we expect some new Jacob's Dream material coming anytime soon?
There's a crap load of stuff in the can.
As soon as you write it.
As soon as I write it. Okay.
Seriously, we have a ton of unfinished stuff waiting to be finished and put out there. We just, one thing, you know, after another has come at us this past year between COVID and all that crap. Yeah,
That's
all
what that
these-
is.
last time we were actually working on music, we used this dry erase board. It's covered with notes and stuff from writing like 2 songs in particular. We've actually had in the works for like 3 years. But there's also tons of finished stuff that's just waiting to be, you know, compiled, mixed down, cleaned up.
And it can be a slow process because we only get together for, roughly 4 or 5 hours a week. So
Right.
it can take some time.
But I'm trying to get with the other guys throughout the week. Kevin and John and I live kind of on the same end of the world. Gary and Johnny and James live out here towards the west side of Columbus, but I'm more, there they are. We're more out east.
Toward Newark.
Newark, Ohio.
I
We live
actually
out.
live in Newark.
Yeah, he lives in Newark. I live just on the edge of Newark.
Okay.
And we're working towards getting together. I'm trying to learn more.
You want to see a
things.
picture of Newark at night?
That's awesome. So have all of your albums been self-produced, or have you brought in outside producers to help?
The demo and the first album were produced by Rick May. He actually played a little bit of drums for us too. We didn't really think of him as a producer per se, but he really wanted to be the producer, like, all right, whatever it takes to get it done, man. But he really wanted to put his thumbprint on it. And he's not a metal guy. He plays drums for DC Talk. He used to be their touring drummer.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And,
He used to be in a band called the Walter Eugenes.
oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I think it's.
I remember the
I
band.
think that's it.
But anyway, we're in the studio with him and he's always coming up with ideas. And we're like, yeah, that's great. That's not metal. That's great. That's not metal. Hey, you need to use this pedal. It's not metal, dude. But, in the long run, he's really good at a few things. One is recording vocals and obviously drums. So I think those are really two of the biggest bright spots of both of those, the demo and the first release. The Theater of War, I guess that was produced by Joe Veers, but he wasn't a real hands-on
I
kind
don't
of guy.
think it was produced by him. So you say produced, we
I
were
think
still
he-
producing that. He was the engineer.
Engineer.
Right,
Yeah.
technically,
Engineered it.
but he liked to say he was producing it.
Oh, he did. Because production, the production guy is going to tell you do this, do that. So if you go back to who is that? Def Leppard. Well, I can't hit that note. Well, yeah, you need to hit this note. That's what the producer was saying to do.
Right,
We were telling
right.
Joe that
What to
no,
do.
this needs to be here. And I remember it was Traces of Grace. And I had it's a one-way bass slide, just one note. And he's like, do you really think that should be in there? You're old, there's nothing else playing there. It's like, trust me, dude, just roll with it. And so it's that big breakdown.
Yeah. Ooh.
And he was like, dude, that's just freaking huge. So but we all had some sort of an input. I mean, what was going on with leads, guitar sounds. There was nobody that was turning our knobs and telling us, here's what you're going to do.
I mean, it would be nice if somebody could do that. Say, hey, make me sound like Steve Vai. Okay, well, there you go.
But then you wouldn't be happy with
But
that.
no, they always say, well, bring in Steve Vai's guitar rig. I'm like, well, what good are you?
Anybody that's tried to turn a knob or anything with us, it never works out because it doesn't meld in with what the organism is wanting.
It's
So
not your sound.
I mean, one person could say, well, that's kind of cool, but the other 4 pieces of the organism are saying, I don't know. So everything only happens through the individuals that are here, that are in the group doing the recording. Outside influence never has really been a benefit for anything we've done. And whether it be artwork or, normally we're kind of telling what we want out of the artwork. We're telling this is what we want with the music. So, when I think of like production, I think we have been our own producers for pretty much every project. I mean, Rick would have been the closest thing to having, like Barry said, having his thumbprint on it. There was a lot of stuff in there that was Rick. So, other than that, I think we're.
Well, your music isn't like Def Leppard is they have a lot of sonic effects and sound effects, and that whole Mutt-Lang thumbprint, let's overdub everything a million times. That's not Jacob's Dreams music. Yours is more.
No, it's not.
Yeah, you're straight ahead metal. It's about the song. and that comes across. Your guitar sounds are big enough. I'm not hearing a ton of overdubs and double tracking and stuff with two guitars playing it. The production on all these albums are, like I said before, I'm impressed, and that's coming from a Dream Theater nerd. So that's good, guys. It's good.
I knew I liked you.
You should have heard what he said a minute ago.
Well, guys, we've been going at this for 35 minutes. Is there anything you all would like to tell the readership and viewership at Heaven's Metal about upcoming concerts, upcoming albums, what you guys are doing, anything like that? The mic is yours.
November 27th, Paul's Nightclub in Lancaster.
Oh,
That's the next thing we got going on.
November
The day after
27th.
that, we're playing at the Heavy Metal Church.
Oh,
oh, wow.
we are.
The what? Same
I
freaking
guess I
weekend.
missed that
Same
one.
freaking weekend.
That's until February.
Nope. I've been telling you guys for like 6 months.
No, I thought,
Gotta get a
well, what's in
bus now.
February?
Communication.
That was a show that I volunteered to play there again in February. That got canceled.
Oh,
Our
okay.
next date is like next summer there.
All right, all
Well,
right.
if you're in Hamilton, you can go to the show, right? It's just in freaking Dayton. It's the First Heavy Metal Church of Christ. It's gonna be, I guess, Sunday after Thanksgiving.
That might be very tempting. My family's going to be in town. My oldest,
Man,
So there you
I'll be
go.
sick of them by then.
Now you
my
have an
oldest son,
excuse.
my oldest son is a worship leader for a church up in Michigan. He's coming in town. He's a metalhead. He
Bring him out, show him how it's done.
exactly, and he just bought his first Majesty guitar. So he's quite the shredder, and he would love to come and see you guys. If they're going to be in
Poor
town. That would
child.
be awesome to bring him up. So yeah,
I think you ought to do it.
yeah, he's 30. I started him young. You go back and look at our home movies, and the soundtrack of our life is a lot of Bride. We saw Bride every time they came around, and they're just from Louisville. So I can't even count how many times I saw them, at least 2 or 3 times at the King's Place. You guys are probably there for some of those shows.
Oh, yeah, they were there like.
Oh, yeah, I saw quite a bit. Yeah.
Like here, once a month they were there, it seemed like.
Yeah,
They were the first CD I ever had. Live to Die.
That wasn't for me like a CD. That was, I think, I had on a cassette, and that was Live to Die was, I think, by far the best Bride album. And I know they got a lot more credit for Kinetic Faith, but in my mind and what I've always loved about Bride, Live to Die was the best.
Yeah, I
the
love
best
Live to
project.
Die.
Everything that was good about Bride was on Live to Die.
Yeah, that's the one. Hell No was on that, right?
Yeah.
They could not play the King's Place without playing that song.
Oh,
Oh,
no,
that's
we
good.
wouldn't let them go.
Here Comes the Bride.
Yeah.
Heroes.
Whiskey Seed was Whiskey Seed on that one too.
Yeah, Whiskey Seeds on that.
Yeah.
No, Whiskey Seeds on.
You sure?
It's not on Live to Die. It's on.
Was that on the first one?
I think it's Silence of Madness.
Oh, it's on Silences.
Oh, it's on Silence. Okay. Yeah.
Both of those were good albums. I'm pretty sure the Whiskey Seed is on Silence of Madness. I'm not going to swear to that because I'd go to hell, and God wouldn't like that.
Uh,
I don't know. He might.
So
If he would, that would be sad.
I don't want to hog up any time. I just want to say that whatever we've done that's been out there that's done anything for anyone, if it's helped someone, if any of the songs we've got's ministered, then it's all been worth it. And, I just hope that that's the focus will always remain. Plus, I want to get better. Before I leave this planet, I want to get better at what we're doing here. Make it more excellent. That's all I want. I just want it to be good, excellent. And if it helps someone, if it does something that God wants to accomplish, I don't want to sound all super spiritual guy, because trust me, I fall way short of it. That's all I want. And it'd be kind of nice to have a little bit of financial success. I mean, that would be nice, but I'm not holding my breath.
That's what you just said.
Did he just say that's what Judas said?
Yeah, that's what he said.
Well, hey guys, listen. I love hearing your all's heart and hearing your sincerity about your faith. because, you know, you guys know, you've been in the business long enough. There are a lot of, and I put it in quotes, Christian bands that their faith and their walk is way back here compared to, you know, other priorities. And, you know, I didn't know you guys coming into this. I was familiar with your music. And so, you know, that is awesome to hear. And I really appreciate you sharing your heart with us. So, and I know the audience of Heaven's Metal is going to love this interview. So that'll be a lot of fun. Speaking of Brad, I got an interview with Troy Thompson coming up next week. So.
Oh, he said hi.
He knows us.
Well, Troy's a great guy.
Yeah, super cool.
I got
Yeah,
video of
super
me
cool.
and him in an elevator in Mexico.
I only met them when they played. I never
Actually, it
got
was
to
just
play
outside
with
there.
them. I only ever met them when I was going to see them. So it'd be nice to be able to play with them.
Yeah, they were great about hanging
Yeah,
out
we actually played
afterwards.
with them in Mexico City. And what's
How long-
that?
How long ago was that?
That was 2005. We were in
Okay.
Mexico City. But Petra it's kind of a farewell tour, which was weird because we're from Grove City, Ohio, and Petra played at the Nazarene Church here in Grove City, Ohio, and we did not play with them. They go to Mexico City and we play with them. But nonetheless, that Bride, so Petra was a headliner one night, Bride was another headliner. But Bride was on the same night that we were, so they actually took us for an outing out to the, I forget what it's called, but it's basically the Aztec pyramids, but we were on the bus with Dale
Chichen
and
Itza?
Troy, and we got into some like pretty interesting conversation with him because when me and my wife were dating, I took her to see Bride, and I was telling the dude, I said, I bought one of your t-shirts because it had a skull on it. It said 666 on the head of it. And I knew it would actually go against her parents' grain. This was going to rub their fur backwards, you know? And he goes, yeah, you know something though? He says, nobody ever saw the signals they were talking. It said 777. I said, it did? I have to go back and look at that.
Yeah, no one saw that.
Yeah, but it's just kind of interesting because some of the stuff that, and even when Dale would be here, I mean, there were times that at the King's place that there'd be like 4 or 5 of us, and we just kind of be hanging out in the back, and Dale would be there, and we just sit down, and just kind of chat with him, you know. And he was very open. He wasn't like untouchable, but I had a lot of interaction with him, and then when we actually finally got a chance to play and kind of reflect back on, kind of even the influence he had on us, was kind of interesting to, I just kind of really let him know that a lot of what he did affected us. And even when I talked to John Schlitt at, they were on the way to another show. They were like running off stage. I caught up with John Schlitt, and I just told him, it's like, dude, I said, you have no idea how much what you did with Petra has to do with me standing here today. Because those were the things that in my family that I could attain. That was acceptable. Those are things that I could have on my cassette player. But I went to a Petra concert, this would have been late 80s, maybe 90, but they played at Ohio Northern University. And of course, I remember meeting a girl there, but the bigger part of what I remember from that night was you could just feel the spirit move across the crowd from the stage. I mean, musically, what they were bringing was bringing the spirit of God into what was happening. And it didn't matter if you were a believer or not, you could not help but being affected by, and you could like literally feel like move across the room. And that was just, to me, as far as like music and how that connects to your spirit and what your spirit should be doing, your calling, that was kind of a big turning era for me to this. I don't just want to play a bass guitar in a metal band. That was kind of my first thoughts. No, there's more of a purpose here with this. And a lot, honestly, Petra that had a lot to do with. Striper gave me riffs and they gave me the hard driving stuff. I can never discredit Petra though, because of the fact they gave us, you know, a lot of movement of the spirit. And, you know, I don't know, you just can't, it's hard to describe, you can't put it into words. It's like trying to take a picture of a mountain and showing somebody, say, look how massive and gracious this mountain is.
Yeah.
You don't know it until you're standing there in the midst of those mountains to how small you are. And when the Holy Spirit comes into a room, you just have no idea how small you are compared to everything else around you. So anyway, but I digress.
Yeah, I don't throw words around like anointed very often. But Petra's ministry always was anointed, and it was a ministry first. You know, Bob Hartman's his desire to win souls was just amazing, and minister to the saved. You know, I got his devotional when I was newly married and went through his devotional, and that was awesome to do that. So, you know, and he's a great guy too. I've emailed him in the past, and he answers all of his emails personally, and he's a really nice guy. So yeah, that's great to hear.
Gary, you still back there?
He's upstairs.
There's a football game on.
Okay.
Oh, I thought we lost him again.
Yeah, that was really weird. So hey guys, you know, we've been going at it for almost an hour. So
Okay.
why don't we wrap this up? I appreciate it. And you guys are playing, you said, the Sunday after Thanksgiving in Dayton, and then
Lancaster.
and
The
then
Sunday.
Oh, the Sunday after Thanksgiving's in Dayton, the
Saturdays in Lancaster.
Saturday after is in Lancaster, Ohio. And then, yeah, the Sunday after Thanksgiving is.
Don't mind Barry, the nurse will be by a little bit rolling over to dinner.
Thank you.
He's late for his Jello.
Well, hey, and I do know that the Ohio State game is on, so I need to let you guys go because I'm sure there's some interest in Columbus.
That affects me in no way. Actually, everybody in this basement affects us in no way.
I still love the Buckeyes. But, yeah,
I hope they win.
this is
but
more important to talk to you than it is the
Sports ball.
Sports ball, yeah. I'm not a huge Buckeye fan. Sorry. So, hey guys, again, I'm going to try to get up to that the show after. I'm not real sure that it is on a Sunday, and my you know, we may want to attend our home church on that day after Thanksgiving. I don't know. So we'll see. But if we can make it out to the show in Lancaster, we might do that. That'd be great. I think we're frozen up again, so this might be a good time to say bye, and I will edit this together into something meaningful, and we'll get this published ASAP. Thanks, guys. So we will talk to you later.